Lightsworn is finally getting some love. It would also appear Buster Blader is back in action, and we have Gimmick puppets and so much more. Make sure you guys smash the like crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. So we have Lightsworn with your standard... Oh, actually, this is not as standard as I thought it was. We actually have the Water Enchantress package built in here. We have a very large amount of Bysteals present here. So, you know, the control aspect of being able to use these monsters as the interruption pieces that you need to. And we're also focusing on 2 copies of track in here. Now, remember, the big thing with this is you are playing that grass look screener. You're taking this deck to 60 because you want optimized large swings. You want large amounts of cards to kind of give you the ability to tip the scale and to mill those resources. This is also why you're playing things like the Keldo and the Mudora to set up for the graveyard swings. And of course, every good Lightsworn package underneath the sun. Now, we are also playing 1 copy of the Branded Beast, 1 copy of Regained. I feel like those are going to be standard ratios. You're not going to really mess around with those too much because you want to make sure that, you know, while you can still see these, you're able to do what you need to do. Now, what I find interesting is, you know, we are doing the Necroquip in here. We are doing the Desiree. And, of course, my friend, dear old Pilgrim Reaper, is getting the chance to see some play. I'm just extremely happy to see that Pilgrim Reaper as a card is getting playtime. I love this card. I think it's one of the more unique cards available in the game right now. And the fact that, you know, it's a free mill 5 for both players, in my opinion, is incredibly interesting just for what you're able to kind of do with the card pool for this. I also see we're citing some Rise to Full Heights in here. We're getting saucy. My only other thing is, like, you would think with a deck like this, you might consider maining the Thrust because, you know, you want to be able to get to the grass look screener. But this is one of those cases that your deck does so much inherently between the Horus package, the negations you're getting off of the Water Enchantress, the Lightsworn mills. You're going to get the job done very, very quickly for this. So this is definitely interesting to see. Okay. Next up is some Buster Blader action. Now, the thing I'm going to tell you about Buster Blader, especially, you know, when you're playing the Tempai package in here too, the Tempai package ensures that you have a way to end the game relatively quickly. You know, I know people are going to look at this and be like, do we really need to have the Tempai stuff in here? Does the OTK potential that you're getting by pushing those monsters out actually do something? And the answer is yes. Also, not only do you like have the OTK potential with these cards, you also have to remember they are consistency enablers as well. You know, call this mini package what it is. You know, you're on what, 3, 4, 7, 10, 11 cards you're splashing into your deck just to be able to do the Tempai OTK. So, yes, I think it is very warranted. Now, with that being said, yes, we are doing Buster Blader stuff in here. Yes, Buster Blader is important. Also, depending on how things are shaping up in your area, you know, like if you have a lot of Tempai OTK in your area, randomly being able to make the stupid Buster Blader lockdown here and punish your opponent is really, really good. So, I find just the idea that these 2 engines are able to kind of interact together, and the fact that, you know, this duelist has had a track record of 2 wins now. This is now week 2 of their success out here. So it's not like you're seeing this as like an abnormality. No, what you're actually seeing here is a double-sided turnover victory for this, and I am really happy to see, you know, Buster Blader actually getting some action, and especially, you know, if you're a fan of like Dragon plays. Also, the Grand Tusk Dragon is a pretty cool tech choice to be able to go into off of the spheres. It's just one of those cards you look at and you're like, wow, that's incredibly good. All right, next up here, Gimmick Puppet. One duelist has found a way out here to make this deck work. Now, I have said on the record out here that, you know, once we get the next piece of the Gimmick Puppet stuff from Animation Chronicle, I personally believe that this deck can, you know, do something. But the problem is those cards are paywalled into 2025 at this point. You are not seeing those cards anytime soon. So, you know, until you get that one extra piece that is meant to help this deck's consistency, it's not going to happen. So what this deck is trying to supplementary do now is, yes, we are playing the Rainbow Bridge Salvation here so that you can get to this, to get to the search for the Poor Crystal Beast and the Mansion, because if you can see Mansion, you are able to do the full OTK. Now, Justin has an entirely long dedicated video to teaching you what you need to do with this deck. Alright, you'll be able to see what the optimized plays are and everything that you could ever want to do underneath the sun with this. Also, we are playing 2 Mcetis. I know a few people are going to find that a little bit weird. They're going to be like, really? Like, we're reducing numbers on this? I don't particularly think it's all that crazy. Also, this build's not doing anything really too crazy. Like, there's, no crossouts in here. You already have the Nibs in here, sure. Nib's one of those stupid cards right now that since, we've lost a lot of the other power cards that were dedicated to this format, in terms of, negates, being able to have the Nibiru at the end of the field to clean things up is pretty good. So, I think, personally, this is an interesting thing to see. I think that the Gimmick Puppet deck is something that you should be looking at right now, or at least watch the tutorial and the discussion on this, because seeing this deck back is pretty strong. Alright, what else we got back here? We have some Memento for you. Now, remember, Memento is getting a power-up here in about 2 weeks. And that 2 weeks is literally the release date for Rage of the Abyss, which soon. Alright, once you get that next little piece, you have another monster that amps up the recurability of the deck, which is very, very strong. People are going to like that a lot. And then, of course, this deck is going to have Mulch Armies to play with to up the consistency of the combo pieces that the deck will be able to have. So, still doing most of the standard ratios here. One of the more interesting things about this list is we're actually playing triple Memento Fusion instead of 2. I have heard some major arguments for playing 2 in the main, citing the other, but I do like the 3. I think that this is absolutely correct. We are also side decking the crossout designators down here. I also personally think that this is fine. Having access to the crossouts to stop this stupid card, because Shifter is the main problem for this deck. If Shifter resolves, this deck just has issues everywhere. It cannot really find a way to recover and try to play out of the bad beats that the deck has found itself in. So that's one major thing here. I also see we are main decking the Cranium Burst versus the Fracture Dance. I think that this is fine either way. You got to remember, both of these cards are incredibly strong for what they're able to do. Outside of that, the Silhouette Hat Rabbit's still going to be one of those pieces to help you out. I see that we are doing the Herald of Mirage Lights in here as well. This is a cute little addition to the deck choice pile. Outside of that, it's interesting to see what we are working with here. Who really knows in the future how things are going to change up, but I like what I am seeing here. And our last list here is actually Runic White Forest. Now, this build's a little bit different than some of the things I've seen out here. I mean, we're main decking Bystials, which is interesting. We're also doing 2 Iset, 2 Reselia, and of course triple Sylvie, but we're also doing the branded Regained in here with the Lubellion. So the way that this deck feels like it's trying to play is they're using the Bystial Regain stuff to be the package to generate you resources. You want to be able to use that to get you further. I see we're also playing Upstart Goblins. I've heard a lot of people do not like Upstart in this deck. While it is an extra, draw 1, the deck compresses down in size, you're able to find those resources a little bit better. It just leaves a little bit to be desired, in my personal opinion. I see we're also playing only 1 copy of Woes. A lot of people like the multiple Woes. Like, if you're getting the multiple Woes resolving, you're good. I also see we've chosen to extend out our hand trap ratio a lot here, which is fine. You want to make sure that your deck is getting to the large amount of those hand traps so you can try to swing the game in your favor. I get it, all right? You need to be able to have the going first options in those matchups that really, really, really are not your best friend out there. So, a lot of interesting ideas present here. A little bit more meta, but remember, Rage of the Abyss, we're on the precipice of this. The minute the Rage of the Abyss touches down, you have so much craziness that is going to happen with this. Like, I am genuinely entertained by the idea of what's to come. So please, comment down below, tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.